Hi, everyone. Larissa Russell of Creative You Healing, and I'm excited to be here again this year. Cheryl is a good friend of mine, and I think what she's doing here with Masterclass 1111 is so important. I want to talk a little bit about healing because I think when we think about healing ourselves, we think about being cured. And really, it's a self-awareness journey that we're on. And so, as women who are on a wellness journey, that means looking in, seeing our patterns, seeing where we don't believe in ourselves, seeing why we don't believe in ourselves, learning the tools to move forward in the healthiest way possible for us. And, this life is a journey, and some days it feels so hard, and some days it's so amazing. And sometimes it's all in the same day, so hard and so amazing. So just giving yourself some grace around that, I think, is so important because life is full of ups and downs, and you're not going to get it right. We're not perfect. We're human. And so when we think about what is best for us in our wellness journey and moving forward with self-awareness, what does that look like? First of all, it looks messy. It's not a straight line. I call it the cha-cha of life. We take one step forward, two steps back, three steps forward, one step back, and we just cha-cha our way through life, trying our very best to be the best version of ourselves. And sometimes we get it right, and sometimes we don't. And sometimes we don't even know if we've gotten it right or not. But what if we could think of our life as everything happening because it needs to? The hard stuff, the easy stuff, the messy stuff, because all of it builds who we are. And we often look at our past and we wish those things never happened, but they made us who we are. Is that why you don't like yourself enough? Because you wish those things had never happened? I want you to think about that a little bit, because we often will do that to ourselves. Well, if that never happened, then I wouldn't be in this situation. But you are in that situation. So maybe giving yourself some grace for what happened and allowing the fact that things may happen because they need to make you grow. I believe that some people are here to grow. They're on a journey here. And other people are here to help them with that journey. And they may have a journey of their own, or they just may be a supporting character. As you move through this world, thinking about that and knowing that Spirit, the divine, God, whoever it is for you, has your best interest and wants you to move forward in this life, to learn whatever lesson you came here to learn. And maybe it's a hard lesson. Maybe it's forgiveness at the highest level. And so you had to have horrible things happen so that you could forgive at the highest level. Or maybe it's strength of character. And so things are put in your path to test that. And sometimes you fail and sometimes you don't. So really just embrace the fact that you're here to grow and allow yourself to move through this world as you need to. And just be open to the possibilities. But also try to let go of the past, because the past just weighs us down. The past is just going to drag at our heels. And when we are so caught in the past, the depression, right? We settle into that depression of what was, what happened, all of those past things. And when we look to the future and we're stressing about the what ifs, that's the anxiety. But what if we could live right here in this moment? And trust me, I know that this is harder to do than it is to say. It's a journey I've been on my whole life. But if we can really acknowledge that that is the place that we're supposed to be, right here, right now, living this moment, it can really help to alleviate some of those stresses. And you're going to get caught up in the what ifs, and you're going to get caught up in the what happened. But then just allow yourself to come back to the moment. When you catch it, allow yourself to come back to the moment, because this moment is here for a reason. This moment is here for you to live your fullest life. So if you can be in this moment, right here, imagine the difference that could make in your life. So every time you catch it, come back to this moment. We just move through the world without thinking, without breathing. And you might think, well, I breathe. I need to breathe to live. You do, but you don't think about your breath. And it's probably very shallow or very fast. And when you stop and you think about the breath, I know for my own self, I hold my breath. If I'm in pain, if I'm emotional or physical. And so I often will hold my breath in anticipation, I think, and then just gasp it out. So I'm trying to be very aware of that breath. And every time that I catch it, I stop and think about it. But I also stop throughout my day to just check in with my breath, just to check in and see, am I breathing? What am I thinking right now? How am I moving through my day? And at first I had to turn timers on my phone just to remind myself to check in. Now I do it quite regularly. And if I catch myself, if I catch a tension in my body or a headache starting to form, I stop and I breathe and just really breathe. Not just like, oh, I'm breathing, I'm alive, I'm good, but those deep into your belly breaths, right? And as simple as 6 deep belly breaths can recenter you. Even stopping for 2 can help, but 6 it's the magic number, I think, because it gets you past the conscious level of breathing into the awareness. And the awareness is where the goodness is. So when you stop and you catch yourself thinking a thought that may not be in your best interest, or not breathing, or breathing too fast or too shallow, or having all of those swirling things happening in your head, I challenge you to stop and breathe. Just breathe. And the deeper, the better. Just focus on your breath. You don't have to be a Buddhist monk to get settled in your body, to meditate, to breathe. You just have to bring awareness to it. And it gets easier and easier every time you do it. So I challenge you to just give it a try. Just breathing. Just so settled. Just settled right in, and the calmness that comes over the body. And it only took a few moments. And everything is calmer. Everything is more settled. You know, they say to count to 10 or to breathe, you know, if you're angry or something is upsetting you. And there's a reason for that. Just to give yourself that space, right? And I invite you to really think about the way you talk to yourself. We're talking about women and wellness. And one of the things for women especially, is the way we talk to ourselves. We're so hard on ourselves. And the expectation in our culture and the expectation of ourselves, because we were raised that way, is that we can do it all. We will do it all. We have to do it all. And we do until we break and we go into a depression. The anxiety comes up because we're always thinking about that we're not doing it well enough, or what if I forget to do this piece or that piece? And all of those things are just spinning us. And first of all, stop and breathe. But also, you don't have to do it all. I know we've been taught that we have to do it all, but we don't have to. And we are allowed to set boundaries. We are allowed to say no. We are allowed to take time for ourselves. If dad looks after the kids, he's not babysitting, he's parenting. You do not have to be with the kids every moment of the day. If the house needs cleaning, how many people live there? If you're not the only one living there, you're not the only one who needs to clean it. I want you to think about these things, because all of these things are what weigh us down. All of these things are what burn us out. All of these things are what make us sick. So I just want you to think about how you can best look after yourself. And I know the analogy of, the air mask in the airplane, and you put it on yourself, and we all laugh about that. Yeah, we know that. And we know that because it's true. It's so true. We cannot look after other people unless we look after ourselves. And I want you to think about that in the fact that it's not just, yeah, I had a bath, or yeah, I went to the spa. What really fills you up, and making regular time for that. And you're going to say, oh, I don't have time. I have the kids and I have the house and if you don't make time, time will be made for you because you'll get sick. That's what happens. For years, I used to joke about getting sick every Boxing Day. Boxing Day, I would be sick, and I'd be sick until the new year, and then I'd go back to work. And the reason is because I pushed through and got everything done. I did the decorating, I did the shopping, I did the baking, I did all of the things for Christmas. Did I need to do all of those things? I thought I did. No. I didn't need to have 32 boxes of Christmas decorations that needed to be put up. I didn't need to hand bake all the goodies for the season and everyone I knew. I didn't need to do all of those things. But not only that, why are you the only one doing it? Why are you doing it? Do you enjoy all of that? I thought I enjoyed it. What I enjoyed was the finished product. I loved having the house decorated. I loved having goodies for when company came. I didn't enjoy doing all the work of that. And once I realized that, I found other ways I could do it. I could decorate less. The house still looked amazing. I could bring somebody in to decorate. I could get the kids to do it. I could buy baking, hand baking. I could do cookie exchanges. I could host less parties and go to other people's, all of those things. And that's just a seasonal thing. But what about the day-to-day when you're running from work and picking the kids up from school and taking them to their extracurricular activities and going home and making dinner and then getting them to do their homework and then giving them a bath and putting them to bed, and then you fall into bed. Oh, wait, you clean up the house, clean up the kitchen, and fall into bed. And what are the other people in the house doing? Because chances are there's other people in the house, and they don't have to be adults. Kids can do chores. Spouses can do things around the house. You all live there. I've had this conversation with my daughter a lot because my grandkids are 2, 6, and 11. And then there's Dad. And she does everything. So the 6 and 11 are now, and Dad are all doing their own laundry now. They make their own lunches now. She has scheduled in time on the weekend. And at first she felt so guilty. But she's now scheduled in time on the weekend for her to do whatever she wants. If she wants to lay in bed and read a book, if she wants to go out with a friend, if she wants to, whatever she wants to do, that's her time, and it's sacred time for her. The world didn't fall apart. It adapted, because that's what we do. But we always think we have to do it all. We don't. So I just want you to stop. And yes, single moms, I know. Single moms of littles. That's another thing altogether. And I feel for you. Once they're in bed, take time to breathe. Take time to breathe. Children and pets, they need you. Everyone else, they can look after themselves. They don't need you to look after them. And I just want you to think about that, because I know you're probably feeling angry at the words I'm saying, or maybe just angry that, yes, you are doing it all. Or maybe you're feeling the guilt of, well, I couldn't do that because, whatever that is, feel into that feeling. Really feel it. Where do you feel it in your body? What does it feel like? Is it heavy? Is it hot? Is it stabbing? Is it in your neck, your belly? Maybe in your big toe? Where are you feeling it? What does it feel like? Really allow whatever feeling is there. Feel it. I challenge you to just sit with that feeling and see what happens when you sit with that feeling. We often will shove away our feelings, stuff them down, maybe eat them, whatever it is, because we're told not to have feelings. We've been taught our whole lives to keep it in check, or if we lose it, we're hysterical, or that feeling isn't true. Whatever we've been told, it ultimately comes down to, we don't want to be uncomfortable by your feeling your feelings, so you need to stop. Here's the problem with that. It's like an apple or a cork that you push under the water. Eventually, it's going to come up, and it's going to come up with a lot of force. So what if you just allowed yourself to sit with the feelings? Just allow it. Just really sit there. What would happen? It's frightening at the thought, isn't it? And it takes practice, because at first you'll be like, oh, I kind of feel like, oh, maybe it's in my knee, and okay, it might feel a little hot. And then after a bit, you're distracted by something else. But the more you try and the more you focus on it, the easier it'll get. And it's amazing how quickly an emotion can travel through and be done. Whereas when we push it down, it's not gone. It's just hidden, and eventually it's going to come out with a lot more force. So if you can allow yourself to sit with those feelings. Right. So I think I've gone through quite a bit. I just want you to think about, how can you put yourself first? How can you put yourself first? Because you are important, and you cannot do for other people unless you put yourself first. I'm not going to get into the semantics of selfish, selfless, all of that. You know what? You need to look after yourself. Because if you don't rest, rest is coming for you. You don't get to choose when. And it might be a really bad time for you to rest. All right. I'm Larissa Russell of Creative You Healing. I just want to tell you a little bit about the programs we have, because I think it's really important that we do these things to look after ourselves. So we have a morning class every weekday morning called Morning Calm, where we have a short discussion, just check in with each other. I lead you through a guided meditation, give you a journaling prompt and time to journal, and then we come back and discuss the journaling prompt. Amazing way to start the day. Some of the women have been there since the very beginning. It was supposed to be a 6-week, the beginning of COVID, just to get us through. And here we are, how many years later, and we're still going. It's an amazing program. And anyone who comes into the program really appreciates it. And if the timing doesn't work for you, we have a weekly check-in and meditation, recharge and reflect. And that's just a half-hour check-in on Wednesdays. And we do a little bit of a check-in on our week. What's a win? What's one thing we're struggling with? I lead you through a guided meditation. And then I give you a journaling prompt to take away. We have other programs as well, but those two are really good for taking just a little bit of time for yourself. It doesn't have to be more than you have. Either first thing in the morning every day, Wednesdays in the afternoon. Well, my name is Larissa Russell, and I am so honored to be here. And I appreciate Cheryl so much, and so happy that I could take part again. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I am sending you love. Bye for now.